Let's skip the nonsense right from the jump and talk about a harsh reality most men spend years running away from. Stop burning your youth, your focus, and your peace of mind chasing a woman who has already made up her mind about you. Every single day, millions of sharp, capable guys fall headfirst into the exact same painful trap. They tell themselves a comforting lie. If I just text her a little more, if I show her how reliable I am, if I take her to better dinners, or if I just wait out this bad phase, she'll finally see my value and turn around. It sounds romantic in movies, but in real life, that logic is absolute poison. Attraction is not a business negotiation where you can buy someone's interest with extra effort, patience, or self sacrifice. When a woman isn't feeling it, throwing more energy at the problem doesn't make you look dedicated. It makes you look desperate. And nothing kills attraction faster than desperation. You need to understand the fundamental difference in how men and women handle disinterest. When a guy isn't interested in a woman, he usually makes it painfully obvious. He stops reaching out, he gives blunt answers, or he just tells her straight up. Women handle rejection very differently because of safety instincts, social conditioning, and a natural desire to avoid unnecessary conflict. A woman who has checked out will almost never sit you down and spell it out for you in plain English. She isn't going to hand you a formal notice that says, "Hey, I've decided you're not the one." Instead, she will drop quiet hints. She will take longer to reply, suddenly become overwhelmed with work, flake on weekend plans, and slowly fade into the background, hoping you'll pick up on the cues and back off on your own. The biggest mistake you can make right now is mistaking her quiet pullback for a challenge to overcome. Pushing harder when every signal is screaming stop isn't grit, drive, or chivalry. It's groveling. You are effectively handing her the remote control to your self respect and begging her to press play. Here is the ultimate rule of dating that will save you years of headache. Genuine interest is effortless, loud, and crystal clear. If a woman wants you in her life, you will never have to sit around staring at your phone, decoding cryptic text messages, or asking your buddies for advice on what her three-word reply meant. You won't be confused. When she's into you, she makes it easy. When she's not, she becomes an impossible puzzle that you were never meant to solve. Right now, if you are stuck in that endless loop of guessing and hoping, you aren't building a future with someone. You are just burning precious energy on a ghost. You are pouring liquid gold into a bucket with a massive hole in the bottom, wondering why it never fills up. Today, we are putting an end to the mind games once and for all. We are pulling back the curtain on the 7 undeniable, stone cold signs that she has checked out, so you can stop running in circles, cut the dead weight, and walk away with your head held high, your dignity intact, and your power fully reclaimed. Let's take a hard, honest look at the first massive red flag that most guys actively try to ignore: delayed replies and total radio silence. You send off a simple, casual text, something as low pressure as, "Hey, how's your week going?" Then the waiting game begins. Hours start dragging by, then half a day, then a full 24 hours. As you watch the screen, your mind immediately goes into overdrive, trying to build a fortress of excuses to protect your ego. You tell yourself, she's probably just slammed at her desk, or her day is super chaotic, or the classic cope, maybe her notifications are muted and she didn't see it. Stop lying to yourself right now. We live in a modern world where people carry their smartphones into the bathroom, check them at red lights, and scroll through them before their eyes are even fully open in the morning. Nobody in the 21st century goes an entire day without seeing a text from someone they care about. If she has time to post a picture of her lunch, like a reel on Instagram, or update a story, but your message is sitting unread at the bottom of her chat list, collecting dust, that is not an accident. It isn't a technical glitch, and she didn't lose her phone. It is a deliberate, conscious choice to place you at the absolute bottom of her priority list. When a woman is genuinely excited about a man, she doesn't treat his messages like a chore she has to get around to when she's bored. Even if she is genuinely swamped with work, a woman who values you will take 5 seconds out of her day to send a quick text saying, "Hey, my day is crazy busy, but I'll reach out tonight." That brief message takes zero effort, but it signals respect. When you get cold, empty silence instead, she is sending a direct message without saying a single word. You don't matter enough for her time. This brings us straight to how most men completely sabotage themselves in this exact moment. You feel that uncomfortable silence, your anxiety kicks in, and instead of taking a step back to assess the situation, you lean in even harder. You start double texting with a follow up like, "Hey, you alive?" Or "Did you get my last message?" Stop doing this immediately. Throwing more messages into a void doesn't make her suddenly realize what a great guy you are. It confirms to her that you have no other options, no self respect, and nothing better to do than wait around for her approval. Think of it like standing at a crowded bar where the bartender actively ignores you to serve five other people behind you. You don't keep waving your cash in the air and begging for a drink. You put your money back in your pocket, walk away, and find a bar that actually wants your business. The stoic move here is simple, precise, and non negotiable. Match her energy or cut the line entirely. If it takes her 12 hours to send a dry response, do not jump on your phone within 2 seconds like a golden retriever waiting for a treat. You are a man with a life, goals, and a schedule of your own. Do not double text, do not ask for explanations, and do not throw a passive aggressive tantrum over text. You simply recognize the play for what it is, withdraw your focus, and redirect that energy back into your own life. A man with a real backbone never chases a ghost, and he certainly doesn't compete with her phone screen for basic attention. That leads seamlessly into the second major signal that you are fighting an uphill battle. She never, ever initiates contact. Take a minute right now to open your phone, pull up your chat history with her, and do a cold, objective audit. Scroll through the past few weeks and look at who started almost every single conversation. Are you the sole engine driving the entire relationship forward? If you don't reach out on Monday morning, does your phone stay dead silent until you finally break down and text her again on Thursday? If the answer is yes, you need to wake up to the reality of the situation. You aren't building a mutual connection with this person. You are holding up a one sided structure entirely on your own shoulders. And the moment you let go, it collapses. When a woman has genuine attraction and interest in you, she naturally wants to be part of your world. She won't just sit back like a spectator waiting for you to entertain her. She will actively look for excuses to pop into your day. She'll send you a funny meme that made her laugh, fire off a quick text asking how your big project at work went, or drop a simple, "Hope you have a good day," out of nowhere. These small interactions are her way of keeping the bridge between you two open and showing you that you are on her mind. But when her interest level is at zero, she adopts a passive consumer mindset. She lets you do all the heavy lifting, answer all the questions, and plan all the moves, while she just coasts along for the ride without investing a single drop of her own energy. Guys fall into a massive trap here by making endless excuses for her lack of effort. You tell yourself, "She's just shy," or "She's just really bad at texting," or "She prefers it when the man leads." Cut the rationalizations. No woman is too shy to send a two-word text to a guy she is head over heels attracted to. People make time and effort for the things and the people that matter to them. Period. If she can text her group chats all day long, post updates, and stay connected with her friends, but can't find 2 seconds to check in on you, it isn't a personality trait. It's a lack of interest. You are allowing yourself to be treated like an option or an entertainment outlet when she's bored, rather than a priority. The play here requires calm, disciplined restraint. You need to ease off the gas completely and stop being the sole operator of the relationship. Stop texting her first, stop initiating the casual check ins, and simply let the silence exist. This isn't about playing petty high school mind games or trying to manipulate her into missing you. It is a clean, practical test to see if she actually has any skin in the game. If you step back and she notices the shift, steps up, and reaches out to ask where you've been, Then great. She showed you that she notices your absence and values your presence. But if you stop texting first and she completely fades into the background, never reaching out again, you have your final answer wrapped in a bow. Accept the truth, save your energy, and reserve your time for people who are willing to meet you halfway. Let's step right into the third dead giveaway that you are fighting a losing battle: flaking and constant too busy excuses when it comes to making real world plans. You put yourself out there, craft a solid idea, and ask her to get together. Instead of getting an enthusiastic, yes, I'd love to, or a helpful counteroffer, like, Friday is super tight for me, but I'm completely open next Tuesday, you get hit with a cold, vague wall of fog. You are a high value man, offering your time and company, not a telemarketer trying to pitch a bad product. The stoic move here is absolute discipline and clean boundaries. You offer an invitation once with a clear time and place. If she declines or gives a vague maybe without immediately offering a specific alternative day to meet up, you do not scramble to fix it. You simply drop the subject, withdraw the offer completely, and move on with your life. If she wants to see you, the ball is entirely in her court to make it happen. That brings us directly into the fourth glaring sign that her interest has completely evaporated: dry, one word, zero effort conversations. Think about the last few times you exchanged messages with her. You take the time to share a funny story from your day, drop an insightful thought, or ask a genuinely engaging question to get to know her better. You hit send, wait, and what do you get in return? A completely flat, lifeless response like, cool, yeah, haha, or a single emoji. That is not a conversation. That is a social flatline. You are standing there pouring high grade fuel into an engine that doesn't even have a spark plug. When a woman is invested in you, conversation is a smooth two-way street. She doesn't just answer your questions. She expands on her thoughts, throws questions back at you, shares bits of her own world, and actively works to keep the momentum going. But when she serves up dry, low effort breadcrumbs, she is sending an unmistakable signal. She wants the interaction to end, but she's too passive to say it out loud. She is doing the bare minimum to stay polite without giving you anything substantial to work with, hoping you'll get bored and walk away. The mistake most men make in this situation is doubling down out of sheer anxiety. You see her dry response and think, oh, the conversation is dying. I need to save it. So you fire off an even longer paragraph, ask three more questions, or try to crack jokes to manufacture enthusiasm out of thin air. All this does is create a massive imbalance where you are doing 90% of the work while she sits back and gives you 10%. Stop doing heavy lifting for someone who won't even lift a finger. The stoic response to surface level effort is simple: match it with complete silence. When a conversation dies due to her lack of effort, do not perform mouth to mouth resuscitation on it. Let it rest in peace. Never waste your time, your energy, or your deep thoughts on someone who only offers you crumbs in return. Let's break down the fifth trap that catches countless men completely off guard: flirting with absolutely zero follow through. This is what we call the tease loop, and it is one of the most frustrating dynamics you can ever experience. On paper, it looks like everything is going great. She sends flirty text messages, drops playful winks, tosses out subtle compliments about how funny or charming you are, and keeps the banter light and electric. Naturally, as a guy, you interpret these signals as a green light. You think, awesome, she's clearly into me. It's time to make a move. But the second you try to take things out of the digital world and lock down concrete, real life plans, the entire vibe suddenly shifts. She hits the brakes hard with lines like, oh, let's not rush things, or I like where we are right now, or you're moving way too fast. You need to see this situation for what it truly is, without making excuses for her behavior. She does not view you as a serious romantic prospect. She views you as a reliable source of free attention, entertainment, and validation. In the modern dating landscape, Some people love the ego boost that comes from having a man pursue them, compliment them, and chase them around, but they have zero intention of ever stepping foot into the real world with you. She wants the feeling of being wanted without paying the price of real effort, commitment, or vulnerability. When a woman genuinely desires a man, playful flirting is the bridge to meeting up in person, not a dead end destination. If she is constantly dangling the carrot of flirty banter, but dodging every attempt to meet up face to face, you are just an unpaid entertainer keeping her amused when she is bored. The biggest mistake guys make here is playing right into the game, like a donkey chasing a carrot on a stick. You keep buying into the flirty texts, thinking that if you just play along for a few more weeks or send the perfect witty reply, she'll finally feel comfortable enough to go out with you. Stop falling for the digital illusion. The stoic move here is to stop treating empty words like gold. You must recognize that flirtation without action is completely worthless. You don't have to throw a dramatic fit or call her out. Simply stop taking her flirty messages seriously. If she sends a flirty text, keep your response light, casual, and brief, but do not invest real emotional energy into it. If there is no real world action, treat her flirtation as empty noise. Stop chasing the mirage and redirect your focus toward women whose actions actually match their words. That leads directly into the sixth major warning sign that your standing with her is totally compromised. She constantly brings up other men around you. Pay close attention to the way she talks when you two are interacting. Is she constantly dropping names of other guys like she's playing a playlist? She's talking about her ex-boyfriend out of nowhere, bringing up how funny her male coworker is, mentioning a guy from her gym, or casually referencing dates she went on recently. You find yourself sitting there, listening to her rave about another guy's jokes, his job, or his lifestyle, while your stomach twists into a knot. Make no mistake about it. A woman who sees you as a real romantic option and holds high respect for you will naturally keep the focus on the two of you. She intuitively understands that constantly talking about other men creates awkwardness, muddies the water, and signals that her attention is split. When she spends her time talking to you about other guys, she is usually doing one of two things. Either she is deliberately playing psychological games to trigger your jealousy, see you squirm, and test if you'll jump through hoops to prove yourself. Or, even worse, she views you completely as a platonic buddy, a safe sounding board for her drama, where you're effectively treated as one of her girlfriends. Neither of these scenarios is a win for you. When guys get caught in this situation, their natural impulse is to step into the ring and fight for her approval. She mentions how strong or successful some other guy is, and you immediately try to outflex him, top his story, or brag about your own achievements to prove why you're the better option. Stop auditioning for a role in her life. Competing with a list of random dudes instantly lowers your value and tells her that you feel threatened. The stoic move is to step completely out of the arena. You do not get jealous, you do not try to outshine other men, and you certainly do not act as her emotional garbage can for her guy drama. When she starts bringing up other men, give a neutral, unbothered response. Calmly pivot the conversation or pull back your attention entirely. Remind yourself that you are the main event, not a spectator sitting on the sidelines watching her talk about everyone else. If she wants to talk about other guys, let her do it with someone else while you take your time where it is truly appreciated. Let's tackle the seventh, most unmistakable sign of all. One that speaks louder than any text message, phone call, or verbal excuse ever could. Physical avoidance and subtle flinches. You can analyze her words for hours and look for hidden meanings in her texts, but her body language will tell you the absolute, unfiltered truth every single time. Imagine the scene. You're sitting together at a quiet lounge, a coffee shop, or on a couch. The conversation seems fine on the surface, so you decide to make a subtle move to close the distance. You lean in slightly to tell a joke, or you reach out for a casual, low-pressure touch on her arm or shoulder. The instant your hand makes contact or your body enters her personal space, the reaction is immediate and unmistakable. She freezes up, her shoulders tense, or she smoothly slides an inch away. It might be a sharp retreat, like she accidentally brushed against a hot stove, or a subtle, polite shift away from you. But the message underlying that reaction is identical. Keep your distance. You need to understand a basic law of human nature that no amount of wishful thinking can override. Physical closeness is smooth, natural, and completely effortless when mutual attraction is present. When a woman is genuinely attracted to a man, she wants to be close to him. She doesn't build walls, she lowers them. She'll find excuses to brush up against your shoulder, lean into your personal space when she laughs, rest her hand on your knee, or stay close when you walk side by side. But when her romantic interest is at zero, her body's natural defense mechanisms take over to signal her boundaries long before her mouth ever utters a word. Look closely at the physical barriers she sets up during your interactions. Does she place her purse, her phone, or a drink firmly on the table directly between the two of you like a fortress wall? When you sit next to her, does she shrink toward the far corner of the booth? When you meet up or say goodbye, does she dodge a warm, full body hug and turn it into a stiff, mechanical side pat on the back? These are not random accidents or quirks of her personality. They are physical stop signs, indicating that the romantic door is locked tight. The trap so many men fall into right here is a dangerous form of denial. You feel her body pull back. You feel the sudden ice in the air. But instead of reading the clear physical feedback, you double down. You tell yourself, she's just not a touchy-feely person, or she's just overly shy, or I just need to give it more time and the chemistry will eventually grow. Wake up to reality right now. Chemistry is not a houseplant that you can water with patience until it magically grows out of nowhere. Sexual and romantic attraction is an instinctual spark, not a slow negotiation. Trying to force physical touch on someone who flinches at your presence doesn't make you look patient or romantic. It makes you look completely oblivious, pushy, and desperate. You are burning your valuable masculine energy trying to heat up a cold room that actively wants to stay frozen. The stoic move in this exact scenario is absolute composure, immediate respect, and uncompromising self-respect. The moment you sense her tense up, pull back, or set up a physical barrier, you do not throw a moody, hurt tantrum, and you certainly do not keep fishing for another touch. You respect her physical space immediately and step back without hesitation. Keep your posture strong, pull your energy inward, and accept the verdict for what it is. A man of high value and true dignity never begs for warmth, never forces his physical presence on anyone, and never stays where his touch isn't enthusiastically welcomed. Recognize her body language as the final green light to pull the plug. Pack up your attention and walk away with your head held high, saving your fire for someone who actually wants to lean into it